So are you struggling right now when it comes to your online stores? CPAs are just too high, CPMs are too high, the purchase power is super low. Then watch this video till the end because I will go through my Hormozi offer framework that we use for all of our clients outside of just doing emails for them. We have them with offer creation and what kind of offer we can run on the front end to be super profitable. So make sure to check it out and let me know what you think. So welcome to this video. I'm going to go through Hormozi's offer framework for e-commerce. And the reason I'm doing this video is that I'm running an email marketing agency and we do have our success and we are like super profitable for brands. But the majority of stores that struggle, it's not mainly due missing profitability on the back end. It's more so that they are not able to crack front end. They are either not able to be profitable front end or they over rely on the back end. So they are like break even if in a loss, and then they basically do not pay attention on how they can actually make it profitable on the front end. And I wanted to basically go through and share this video with everyone who's struggling to be profitable on the front end with paid ads. And I'm basically going to go through Hormozi's offer framework and how you can use that to maximize your profits, actually be profitable on the first purchase, and then do not over rely on the emails to actually make your business make sense. So yeah, I'm going to go through this little meme here. So here are the crushing brands and you can see low purchase power, high CPMs, and pretty much in the negative. This is the current state of ecom. Like in general, the purchase power is on the decline, inflation, everything is rising cost-wise, and they're not getting, our customers are not getting more money. So that's why the purchase power decreases simultaneously. They're also higher CPMs, so CPMs rise in general, like cost per acquisition is just super high, and pretty much a lot of brands are in the negative. And here you can see what do crushing brands do. They basically built an Hormozi front-end offer, and I'm going to go through why you should do something in the first place, what current the majority of e-com brands are doing, and then go through the framework from Hormozi, and in general go through a few things when it comes to customer lifetime focus and high profit front-end. So without further ado, let's dive into this one. So why should we take a look into our numbers and how we increase and basically make an offer viable for front end? So the entire atmosphere right now when it comes to purchase power and in general, all advertising costs, you can see that CPMs rise, cost per acquisition go up, and buying power decreases. So what we saw with a lot of brands, what they do is instead of trying to actually increase the paid ads effort and actually crack ads, they over rely on emails, and we've seen it dozens and dozens of times. The moment paid ads are getting more complicated, they over rely on emails, and it's like a sale pretty much each and every week. So 20 off here, 20% off here, 25% off here, 30% off here, and everything is site-wide and it's just spamming discounts everywhere. So the only viable option you have as a brand to actually be profitable front end is to increase your average order value, because then you can even have higher cost per acquisition. Like decreasing cost per acquisition right now is super hard, and also decreasing because you cannot really decrease CPMs, and you can maybe slightly adjust conversion rates on your site and conversion rates on your ads, but the golden nugget is actually in increasing AOV. So how can you make your customers buy more or spend more? It doesn't have to be like more items, but like in general, how can you maximize their spending on your store on the first purchase? And in my opinion, the only option to do that is to increase value. So it's not just increase pricing, it's just increase value overall. So that's why I started to question myself and what can we do for our stores? So I then took a look at Hormozi's offer framework, which is basically dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice equals value. So in order to increase value, we need to either increase the dream outcome or make it more visible, or we increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, or we decrease the time delay, or we decrease the effort and sacrifice. So one of these four. And I also took a look at what basically are the common needs of our customers. So they are either they want to be perceived as beautiful. So for example, imagine fashion stores, jewelry, yada yada yada. They want to be respected. Maybe fitness, something like that, supplements, to be perceived as powerful. That's usually not that much when it comes to stores, but for example, could be home furniture, but it's not that much. To be loved could also be an angle when it comes to our gifting and jewelry and stuff, and to increase their status. So these are the 5 common traits or like things that people want to have. That's why we want to increase value to get those demands. And for that, there are only a few things you can do. Your messaging, you can throw in guarantees, and you can throw in testimonials. Testimonials mainly to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. Guarantees also to increase perceived likelihood of achievement. And messaging is just how can you decrease effort and sacrifice from them? How can you decrease the time delay? And how you can actually talk about the dream outcome in a way that it's actually sexy for them. So that's what I took a look at. So I would assume that a lot of brands, they just have a product. They maybe know what the customer wants, but they never question themselves or like, how can they create something where the desired outcome is kind of the main point that they were trying to give with their items. So for example, imagine like a fashion store or imagine a supplement brand. Like what do people actually want if they want to, I don't know, buy vitamin D3 or something? What is the dream outcome and how can we increase the likelihood of achieving that? So for example, if you're running a fitness store, why do people buy your items? It's not because they want, I don't know, whey powder. They actually want to get in shape or they want to build muscle or bulk up, stuff like that. So why do you not create kind of a bundle that you can then sell for more, but you actually have in comparison lower cost? And that opens up the window of opportunity of basically having 2 main ways to increase the AOV. Because for example, you're selling an item for 20 bucks and for let's say 40 bucks and your cost of goods sold, including shipping and stuff, is like 15 bucks. So you have like 25 bucks to play around with in Facebook. And let's say it costs you 15, you have cost per acquisition of 15, which is already kind of good, to be honest. Then you do not have that much profit. So it's getting super, super hard to scale up. But imagine same store, same messaging, everything is pretty much the same, but you increase your average order value from 40 to let's say 95, and your costs increase as well. But instead of having, I don't know, 15 or 10 bucks as your break even or like as your cost of goods sold, you actually have maybe 30. So you then have pretty much, what is it, like 50, 65 euros or like dollars to actually spend on Facebook ads to be profitable. So you have way more room for error and scalability. So here you can see we have 2 ways to running that. So the first one is we focus on being super, super high profit on front end. That's the only way to actually scale up. Like we have two main focuses. One is being super, super profitable on the front end, and the other one is just, focusing on customer lifetime value. But I want to focus on high profit first because I feel like the majority of brands started with this one, and this is more so suited for like a sub niche, for example, like supplements, skincare, and stuff like that. So here, if we take a look at high profit front end, our goal is that our average order value is above our break even. So for example, 50 bucks CPM times 1% click-through rate, that's like 1.50 cost per click times 2% click-through rate, that's like a cost per acquisition of 75. So your break-even ROAS is 2, and you need to sell a $150 item. As you can see, this is kind of just a random example. So you can see cost per acquisition is 75, and you want to have a break-even ROAS of 2, or you have a break-even ROAS of 2, so you need to sell an item of 150. You can try to increase click-through rate and also the conversion rate on the page, or you create a front-end bundle where the unit economics actually make sense. So let's say you have a power offer, for example, could be buy X get Y free instead of percentage off. So for example, we are now testing a few of those on some stores, and like we see that if you give 30% off or like 25% off, the actual profit that we make isn't that high. But just by doing buy 2 get 1 free, the AOV bumps up a lot. And that way people incentivize to buy 2, and our cost of goods sold isn't increasing that much. So we are way more profitable and we have way more room for errors here. And also the perceived value is way higher, plus average order value is higher, and cost actually lower since cost of goods sold is way lower than the original price. So if you're selling an item for 30 bucks, obviously it doesn't cost you 30 bucks. You basically give something out for free, increase the perceived value, and have like just a lower increase in cost. Let's say, for example, supplements. Instead of pushing heavy on one item and trying to aggressively upsell and cross-sell, you focus on a health and wellness bundle plus maybe a workout plan plus a meal plan, and then you put a price tag there. So now you have a perceived value that is just 2 times the original pricing, but the cost is just, I don't know, maybe like 30% increased, which creates huge opportunity when it comes to actually scaling on Facebook and having this room for error and actually being profitable on the front end. That's like the first goal, the first one with Hormozi and how to actually create it, a high profit front-end offer. The second one is you just focus on customer lifetime focus. So that's kind of, our angle where we come in as an email partner is we focus heavily on, getting as many repeat purchases as possible. But, it also depends on kind of what kind of store you run. But for example, here, it's easier, but you need to wait to be profitable. And if you're bootstrapping, it's very, very hard to plan with something in the future if you're not 100% sure what will happen. So you are break even or even lose on the front end. But with the back end, with emails set up, SMS set up, direct mailing set up, community set up, everything like that, you increase the customer lifetime value. So if, for example, you sell something for $60 and your product cost is $20 and you right now spend $45 to get one customer, you're in net negative loss of $5. But every purchase after that, you do not really need to spend. So the 45 that you spend on the first customer, you can neglect that, and then you have like $40 per purchase pretty much for free. And that's what is possible with having your customer lifetime cycle dialed in. And that's what we're trying to do with email, SMS, direct mailing, all those things to increase the customer lifetime value, to increase repeat purchase rate and all that good stuff. So it needs to work with your items. For example, if you're selling furniture, it obviously doesn't make sense. But if you have something where people actually need to come back, so for example, we're working with a vegan, gluten-free bakery, makes sense. Skincare makes sense. Supplements makes sense. Furniture, not really. So here you can see positive example furniture, bad example furniture, positive example bakery. The thing what separates you from your competitors is you actually want to understand your customer journey and put in A+ retention marketing. By the way, we do this if you want to schedule your audit. There's a link in the description. But you need to understand how do people actually buy. So for example, if you have an item and this is your hero item and it's like a 90-day supply, you should probably, after 30 days, you should probably say, hey, this is how, you should feel at the moment. And then after 60 days, you're like, hey, you're 60 days into your cycle. This is how you should feel. This is what you should experience, blah, 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 blah. And then day 75, you're like, hey, here's an offer. Basically by your purchase date, you should be getting close to finishing your product and your item. If you want to repurchase, here's 15% off. Make sure to get it in time for a smooth transition to your new package. Something like that could make sense, but you need to understand and you need to basically look into your data on how people purchase, how big your stuff is, and how long it takes for someone to get results and help them do that through emails and SMS and direct mailing. So the good thing here, it's super hard to pull off because you're not 100% sure. It needs a lot of focus and attention on retention, but there's not that much competition. Like no one can really steal the entire setup that you have because it's super, super hard to take a look at that if you're not in your Klaviyo account and not like with ads, for example. I can just steal your entire landing page. So that's like there's lower competition. Plus it also increases market share because people come back, and just in general the extra validation is way higher because the more repeat purchases naturally and you're not depending on Facebook and stuff, the better. So that's wonderful, but it is risky, as I said, since you delay between the first purchase and the second purchase and you need money to survive. So that's why this is kind of harder to pull off, but if you have funds and if you have an item that makes sense and if you have a retention dialed in, this is the best way. And obviously the best way is to partner up with those, have an A+ retention backup, and also create bundles that are high profitable on front end. And that's basically the Hormozi offer framework used for e-commerce. If you want all of that implemented for your brand, including bundles, offer creation, including customer lifetime cycling, then feel free to schedule a call with me and then we go from there. Thank you so much. Hope this video was of value to you. See you in the next one. I hope this offer framework video helped you and you learned some stuff that I learned from Hormozi. If you want us to run your entire email backend and help you create the best offers when it comes to your store, then make sure to check out the video description. There's a link you can click on, it gets you to my scheduler, and then you can basically get a free audit of your entire email backend, and then we can go through that together and see where we can help you. Other than that, make sure to check out some of my other videos. I break down stuff for Shopify, Klaviyo, and all things email and ecom related, so make sure to check them out. Other than that, I see you in the next one. Bye bye.